Coach, latest on Charlie?
He's graduated into contact practices, so he'll stay with the team in practice now. Obviously, I don't have a timeline for exactly when he'll join us, but he's that one step closer.
And that said, did he look comfortable to you? Did he?
Yeah, he did. Actually, looked pretty good. So, I mean, I guess for him, he's going to have to get used to bodies around him and banging and try to simulate some of that in practice. Some of the 5-on-5 drills will have that. So the more he gets comfortable with that, the closer he'll be. So again, it's good news that it's probably the last step, right? When he's comfortable with contact and bodies around him, then you're ready to go.
Maintenance for Tory?
Yeah, he's traveling. I mean, I assume he'll play. That's the plan.
Considering what Charlie's been through, like last year with the medical issues and this year, what have you thought of the way he's sort of handled the mental aspect of that?
I can't 100% answer that. I think when he gets back in the game, we'll see how he reacts to playing again. Will he be tentative? Will he be assertive? Will it take a while to get back into it? Everybody that misses time, usually it's hard to jump right back in with both feet, so we'll assess that as we go. He seems to be in good spirit, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
You know, if guys are kind of dragging around, then that's never a good thing. You want them to miss playing the game and miss their teammates and miss the camaraderie, but you also want them to understand that there's a process they have to go through and try to come here and be positive about your recovery. That's, I think we've seen a lot of that.
Seems like the last few weeks, Backus has been around the puck a lot, and things are more active offensively for him. Anything you can point to, like this is what the flip that was the switch that was flipped?
We moved him kind of into that line. He's now had steady Wagner. Corrali's been mostly in. One game I think he was out. So I think Bax has always been a guy that prefers consistency. His line mates when he was on, I guess we call it the third line, there was a lot going on for different reasons. We were looking for different people and some injuries. I think that's helped. I think being on the power play has helped him, even though the numbers might not. He knows he's part of it. He's there to win face-offs. He's done a good job with that. He's there to recover pucks. He's done a good job with that. He hasn't buried any, but he's been part of an effective power play for the most part. I mean, we weren't great against Detroit, but we're scoring some goals on it. So I think that's helped his game, knowing that he's contributed. That probably feel the puck a little more on the power play, so maybe that helps 5-on-5. Relax your hands a little bit and not squeeze the stick so tight. I assume that would help.
How much does that help, having that, with the injuries and the people that you're missing, that he's kind of...
Well, we needed certainly a guy we want to try to start with the puck. Berge was so good at that on the power play, because our guys in more zone hand, they're pretty good. Our problems this year when we've gotten in trouble has mostly been entry. Maybe puck management forces in place, so if we can start with it. I don't know, I just think it helps his psyche to know that he's been in the league a long time, he's a proud guy. He wants to do his part somehow, shape or form. I think at the start of the year, he wasn't sure where he fit in, and part of that's on us to give him a more defined role. And we've tried to do that, and I think it's worked out better. I think we all want more. He'd probably say the same thing, but at the end of the day, that's the same with every guy in the room. So I think that's probably why he's a little more relaxed.
With Charlie, there's so many layers to his game, but what element do you feel you're missing the most?
Breakout. I think can be a one-man breakout, very effective of getting the net, getting it up the middle of the ice. Give us a few cleaner entries, rushes. Neutral zone, he's pretty good at hitting that seam when it's there, getting the forwards going, some easier attacks. I think we miss that part of his game the most. I think the shutdown part is good as well, but we've put some guys in the lineup I think have handled that part of it okay. It's the breakouts and that first pass execution that I think is his bread and butter.
Bruce, with JFK, was that always the plan to send him down?
No, once he didn't play Saturday, we wanted to keep him playing. I understand he played well down there yesterday, so we were going to bring him back. We'll see what our lineup looks like tomorrow. I'm not promising he'll be in or out, but we wanted to get him again a game if he wasn't going to play here Saturday. If he had played here Saturday, I don't think we would have sent him down, but it's important that he keeps active.
You had 3 different left wings for that second line on Saturday. You start the trip with...
Is that all?
Yeah. start the trip with Donato, that's.
We're gonna try it with Ryan. I thought he did a good job on the offensive side of things. He wants to score every time he's on the ice. That hasn't changed. We're just trying to clean up the rest. When you're up in the lineup, you're seeing better defensemen. You're probably playing against most of the time the other team's second line or first line, so you got to make sure you're accountable the other way. So we're going to work with him on that. But I like to compete on the puck. I like that he shot it. I like that he scored again. So we'll give it a whirl.
Saturday, you said you talked about physicality the team is facing, that you could be facing a lot. Is that something you guys discussed? And ironically, Jimmy Howard after the game said he wasn't because 33 wasn't on the ice. So that's something you guys.
He said that?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Well, it could be. I mean, I think that's just realistically what happens when you're missing some of your heavier guys. Guys get a little taller, a little bigger on the other team. And I'm not saying everyone. There's guys that compete hard. This is National Hockey League. Every player in the league has courage. It's just how much when some of the other guys are out of the lineup. But that's where other guys have to, and that's where Nordy did try to, let them know that, hey, that we're going to push back, and then that's where it's a group effort. Marcia's done that. It's just not ideal. Those guys, you'd rather have the more physical guys that are used to it. So we missed that, but listen, other guys got to bring it. It's got to be a kind of a effort by committee. Obviously Kevin, another guy. There's two of them. Miller. Those are two guys that are can be abrasive, or belligerent, or whatever word you want to use. And some teams will think twice about that when they're out there. I don't know if that was Detroit. Like I said, if he says that, then that's feeling that, and I don't want to disrespect them either. That's certainly how it played out a little bit.
How hard is it to find sort of maybe that guy that's not an enforcer necessarily, but a guy that can play that role for you, and yet a guy that you don't want, as opposed to having Marshy do it, or Krug, or Nordy, that can find that balance. Is that still there in the NHL? Right?
It is. Kevin Miller's a full-time player for us. He obviously they'll do it. I think Back still has it in him. He's had some concussions, so it's not as automatic as maybe when he was 27 years old or whatnot. Noel will certainly do it. Wagner. So we have some good soldiers there. It's just I think it's getting legislated out of the league a little bit. I think teams' rosters, how you draft, is changed a little bit. So you're getting smaller, more skilled guys that are coming up through the system. So you have less even in the pipeline. So and if every team's the same, that's just the way that the game is trended. Do I still think I think every GM will tell you they want that 6'2", 210-pound guy that can play on the edge and score and keep the other team honest. I just don't think they grow on trees, unfortunately.
This week, I know you're taking one game at a time, but this is quite a challenging week in the schedule. Maybe the most challenging week of the season, considering your physical situation as well.
I find them all challenging, to be honest. But yes, if we're going to look ahead, Tampa Bay and Toronto, they're at the top of the division with Buffalo, obviously. Ottawa's playing better. We've played well against them. Florida, we haven't seen this year, but we know they're a good team. They've had their goaltender got hurt, so I'm sure that's played a part in their record. And it's always a tough game up there. So no, listen, that's not the end of the world to have challenging weeks. Force you to be on your toes. So that's the way we look at it.
Thanks, everyone.